Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Figures of Sport podcast. Welcome to episode 75. Guys, we are super excited because we have so much to talk about this week. As I've been mentioning over the last few episodes, Major League Baseball's postseason has officially began. As we are currently recording this, 2 games have been completed already, so we are going to jump straight into that first thing in this episode. But outside of the MLB postseason stuff that we're going to talk about, we've got week 4 for the NFL. We've got fantasy football talk for, implications for week 5. A lot has gone on in the NFL this past week, so we are here to keep you guys informed, and we are ready to jump right into things. But, of course, you guys know that the most important thing before we jump into this episode is that you guys go ahead and do me a favor, like, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell on our channel as well, and make sure that you are following us on Instagram, on TikTok, and making sure that you are staying up to date with everything that we are posting, because we have been posting so much content over the last few weeks, and you guys have been loving it. So huge shout out to you guys for being able to support, and it really means a lot to me. And we're going to have, like I said, a lot more to talk about today. And the first thing that we are going to talk about is the wild card round, as I had previously mentioned. So, when it comes to the wild card round, they are going to be 4 best of 3 matchups. The 1 and 2 seed in each league will receive a first round bye. So in the American League, the Blue Jays and the Mariners got the first round bye. In the National League, the Brewers and the Phillies got the first round bye. And so the first games that we saw today, as I said before, we are currently recording on Tuesday. The first game, first pitch of the first game for the wild card round was at 12 p.m. today, Central Time, and that was between the Cleveland Guardians and the Detroit Tigers. The Tigers were able to come out with that one, and it was a great game. I think the Guardians had some mistakes, both defensively and on the base paths, and that kind of cost them this game. But Tariq Skubal really put the Tigers on his back, man. What a performance. 14 strikeouts, which I believe is a career high for him, and the Tigers are able to take a 1-0 lead. So that's going to be interesting. Game 2 is tomorrow, and hey, if the Tigers are able to close this out, they will be advancing to the divisional round right away. So I think the Guardians, who have been giving them trouble this year, I think they can bounce back in game 2. But ultimately, this is going to be a very, very interesting series. So I'm super excited for game 2 tomorrow. And the second game that actually was played today was between the Chicago Cubs and the San Diego Padres down in Wrigleyville in Chicago. The city was jumping, man. It was a sight to see, that's for sure. Wrigley Field was booming, and the Cubs were able to come away with a win, man. And I'm not gonna lie, I've been telling a lot of people around me that the Padres are going to be a team to watch in the National League. And right now they're facing a 1-0 deficit. So, everything is on the line tomorrow. They had their best pitcher, Nick Pivetta, going for game 1. And, he did good things for them. But, ultimately, the Cubs were able to come away with the win, man. Seiya Suzuki hit a home run. Carson Kelly hit another. And they were able to take that lead and never give it back. The advantage to the Padres, though, in this series is going to be the bullpen. So if tomorrow is a close game and the Padres have the lead, I do expect the Padres bullpen to kind of show up and stand out in game 2 tomorrow. But the Cubs do have a 1-0 lead. And like I said, Padres backs against the wall for tomorrow's game 2 matchup. And as we are currently recording this episode right now, the Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees are facing off in game 1 of the American League Wild Card Series in New York. The Yankees currently have a 1-0 lead. Anthony Volpe hit a home run, and I think everybody counted him out after his struggles offensively. And He's the guy that put them on the board, taking Garrett Crochet deep. I believe that was in the second inning of the ball game. So, Boston is facing a deficit right now. And if anything changes, because by the time we are done recording this episode, I will kind of go back and check that out and give you guys an update, because we're going to talk about, the outcome of game 1 and the implications that's going to have on game 2. And then for tonight's final game of the wild card round, we have the Dodgers and the Reds. I think that's going to be a really, really interesting series. The Mets had the opportunity to be in this postseason, and they completely collapsed. We talked about it last week. We talked about it the week before and the week before that. A huge, huge collapse by the New York Mets and their massive payroll. A team that was very disappointing down the stretch of September, and they were able to play themselves out of a wild card spot. So hats off to the Cincinnati Reds team, man. They really did come to play this season. Above 500, 83-79 to finish off the year. And they are going to have Hunter Green on the bump today. And the Dodgers are going to have Blake Snell. Very, very interesting series, in my opinion. I'm super excited for this one. A Dodgers upset would be crazy to see. I don't expect it happening. I do expect the Dodgers to pull out of this series. I expect as crazy as it sounds, as they're currently facing a 1-0 deficit, I think that the Padres can come back and win this series. And I do think that the Tigers can win this series as well with that 1-0 lead. And then in the final series, the Red Sox-Yankees, as crazy as it sounds, I kind of think that the Red Sox have it in them to really win this series, man. I think they have the better bullpen. The Yankees bullpen, we've seen for most of the season that they have been struggling. Guys just haven't been performing as to, their expectations, such as Devin Williams. But I think it's going to be an interesting series. And I'm just super excited. Postseason baseball, it's the best time of year, to have postseason baseball back. I'm super excited, and we are going to be covering it all October long, guys. We have so much in store. And so now we're going to talk about some of the teams that are going to be facing off potentially in the divisional series. And so the Blue Jays, as I had mentioned, have a first round bye. They will face the winner of the Boston and New York Yankees series. So that's going to be a battle of the AL East once again. And then the Mariners are going to face the winner of the Detroit Tigers and Cleveland Guardians series. So that's going to be a very interesting one as well. And on the National League side of things, the Brewers are going to face the winner of the Padres and Cubs series. If the Cubs are able to prevail and win that series, that will be a series to watch. Let me tell you, battle of the NL Central teams, and the Cubs can get their revenge after losing that divisional lead to the Brewers, who kind of ran away with that division at the end. That'll be very interesting to see as well if that comes to fruition. And then finally, the Phillies are going to face the winner of the Reds and Dodgers series. And ultimately, man, I think if you had to bend my arm today and ask me who I'm going to take to win the World Series this season, I know that we are only in the wild card round, so I want to make my predictions early. But I really like the Phillies. I think this is the opportunity for the Phillies to really do it this year. I think the Dodgers, the almighty Dodgers, with the lineup that they have and the rotation that they have, I just think that they haven't been healthy enough all year to kind of get everything rolling at the same time. And, I just think that the Phillies are going to be the team to beat in the National League. So that is my World Series prediction. Again, I know we're only in the wild card round, but of course I would rather make my prediction now than when it comes down to the World Series. And I just say, hey, I think the Phillies are the better team. I'm going to go with my gut. And on September 30th, 2025, I'm going to say that the Philadelphia Phillies will be raising the World Series trophy come end of October. Now, we have, like I said, so much more to talk about for baseball over the next few weeks. So without further ado, we are going to talk about the NFL, and we have the Week 4 recap, but we don't talk about the NFL by ourselves anymore, guys. We are going to be bringing on the one, the only G Money is back on the podcast. And man, George, week 4. What a week.
What a week it was. What a week it
Yeah.
was.
What a week it was indeed, man. So we are going to, as you guys know, when it comes to the week 4 recap, we like to go game by game, and we like to give you guys, just a quick rundown of everything that happened in the NFL during this week. So, of course, we're going to start with Thursday night football, the Seahawks and the Cardinals. It was a super, super close game at the end, man. Honestly, probably a lot closer than we thought it was going to be. In the fourth quarter, it was 20-6, and the Seahawks missed that field goal to take a 23-6 lead. And next thing you know, here come the Cardinals. What are your thoughts on this game, man?
Yeah, I mean, just watching the game, you could see in the first quarter it was very one-sided. We saw the struggles a little bit again with Marvin Harrison. Picked it up in the second half. Kyler kept throwing in, which I love. Don't break your young receivers' confidence. Seattle should have closed this out a little bit more the way that Arizona was playing through those first 3 quarters. The score doesn't show exactly how this game was played. It was a field goal winning game, field goal to win the game. But, I mean, Seattle mostly dominated this game, especially on defense. The defense looks good. And right now, in my opinion, it's starting to look like clearly that Seattle made the correct decision moving on with Genome going to get Sam Darnold after he just got shipped out of Minnesota.
Yeah, man, I think I do think that was the good move for them. Yeah. I know that people are going to criticize Sam Darnold, but I mean, through the first 4 weeks, he really hasn't done anything to truly hurt this team. He's running the offense well. The defense is showing up, and I mean that's all that matters at the end of the day in the NFL is the wins, right? So and Sam Darnold is winning.
And they're a good, healthy young team. Jackson Smith and Jigba. Sam Darnold's only 28 years old. I know it seems like he's been in the league for a long time being passed around from team to team, but he's only 28. You got a 28-year-old quarterback who looks like he's going to be your franchise right now. Star young wide receiver in JSN. You got a double-headed monster running back duo in Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. You got a pretty good defense there. I mean, the future's looking bright for Seattle.
Yeah, man. I think it's going to be a good next few seasons for Seattle, especially with Sam Darnold there, as long as he continues. They're 3-1. They are tied atop the I'm thinking baseball. The NFC West, though, right now with the San Francisco 49ers, who we will talk about a little bit later. But yeah, shout out to the Seahawks, man. They keep getting it done.
And I want to give a quick shout out to Calais Campbell. If you're watching that game, I mean, he's 39 years old and he was moving. He was blowing past that O-line like it was nothing, like he was back in his prime. It was kind of impressive to see, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, man. Hey, sometimes dominance just carries over no matter how old you are. Hey, we see it in other leagues as well, the MLB, the NBA. So dominance is sometimes it can beat father time, right?
Yeah.
Now, the next game, George, that we're going to talk about is the Ireland game, a game that was played between the Vikings and the Steelers. And before we even get into the game, George, did you hear the news that the backup quarterback, I think his name Skylar Thompson, I believe, he was robbed and assaulted in Ireland the night before the game? How crazy is that?
Yeah, that's pretty crazy to see. You'd think like they'd be, I don't know what exactly the details are with that. They haven't released any details, but you would assume like teams traveling out of the country for a game, they would most likely stay together at the hotel. Right. You don't really want to like go off on your own in a country you're not familiar with, especially when you're there to just like play a game and like again you want to explore the country and all. But I mean something like this could happen. Thankfully he's okay. He said he didn't get hurt at all. They're digging deep into like NFL security and what happened and who did it and stuff like that. So thank God he's okay, and he was able to suit up still for that game in case they needed him.
Yeah, man. Hopefully they're able to figure that out, but just a crazy situation.
Yeah, it's very crazy.
I mean, outside of that though, we ended up getting a great game over in Ireland, man.
Yeah.
I think the score obviously looks a lot closer than what it was going into, the Steelers were able to win this game 24-21, but going into the fourth quarter, very similar to Thursday night's game, it was a very one-sided game. Pittsburgh was up 24-6, and then next thing you know, the Vikings score 15 unanswered. They the Steelers hit a field goal in the fourth quarter, like I said, to take that 24-6 lead, and then the Vikings come down and score a touchdown, and then they're able to turn the Steelers over on downs, score another touchdown, then force a punt, and then ultimately on the last drive of the game, the Vikings couldn't get it done, and they turn it over on downs. But man, I mean, what were your takeaways from this game?
I thought the Steelers played exceptionally well. Aaron Rodgers looked good. He was very efficient this game. We finally saw a DK Metcalf-esque game finally through the first 4 weeks. Had the long touchdown run, had a couple more targets throughout the game. And surprisingly, Jaylen Warren was ruled out of this game an hour before kickoff, and Kenneth Gainwell stepped into the role perfectly fine for them. Had the 2 touchdowns. The run game was there for them, which has kind of been somewhat of a little bit of a struggle throughout this 4 weeks so far. But we saw it there, especially against Brian Flores' defense, we saw what they did last week to Cincinnati. Yeah. I thought the Steelers played very well on offense. Defense looked a lot better than we have seen previously. And in Minnesota, offensively, those first 3 quarters, they just couldn't get anything going. The defense was kind of getting carved up a little bit there. And, we'll see what happens with these Minnesota struggle if they can fix it for next week. But Steelers look good this week. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, man. And as you had mentioned about the Jaylen Warren situation, so funny story. So one of my buddies in a fantasy league that I'm in, he said, so I believe this game started 8:30 in the morning, Central Time, right?
Yep.
So he said he set an alarm, woke up at 7:45-ish, and saw that it still said, because this was a league on Sleeper, and it still had news that Jaylen Warren was expected to play, right? He goes back to sleep. Next thing you know, he wakes up. It's 10 o'clock mid-game. And next thing you know, Jaylen Warren is sitting out and he is starting him in his lineup. So he took a loss because of that. So that really sucks to just see. But I had to bring that up just because it was a very late announcement on the Jaylen Warren stuff. And, of course, with those international games, it's a risky take, man, when you're setting your fantasy lineups. But to kind of go back to the game overall, as you mentioned, the Vikings struggled with those first 3 quarters, but ultimately, I mean, Wentz he did put his team in a position to make the comeback. They just couldn't do it at the end. The Steelers really kind of collapsed in that fourth quarter, giving up those 2 touchdowns and then not really being able to move the ball on their next 2 drives in the fourth quarter outside of that field goal. But they really were able to lock things down on the Vikings' last possession to really kind of seal the deal. So shout out to the Steelers for getting it done when it really mattered. And like you said, the defense that we kind of expected them to have really showed up in this game. I mean, because if you look at their schedule, they played the Patriots, they played the
Jets,
the Seahawks and the Jets. And, the Jets game, they gave up 32 points. The Seahawks game, they gave up 31. Their defense was a little bit better against the Patriots in week 3. And then obviously kind of, like I said, collapsed a little bit in that fourth, but shut things down when they needed to. So we're seeing some progression with that Steelers defense. And we'll start to see them kind of maybe come together a little bit more as the season goes along, I think. I think the big thing too with that defense, they have so many new pieces, on that Steelers defense now. So I think it was going to take some time, but hopefully things start clicking for them and we get to see some good football from them now. But we are going to move to the next game because this was a game, honestly, that I think was a lot closer than we had initially expected it to be. But the Saints and Bills game over in Buffalo, the Saints were able to keep it close. They lost by 12. And honestly, the Bills kind of took the fourth quarter and ran away with it, outscoring them 10-3. But outside of that, man, they kept it close. I was very, very impressed with how the Saints played in that game.
Yeah, and there was a point in this game where they were down 4 and had that touchdown reversed back, which it was the right call. They should have they reversed that call, which is good. And then, when Josh Allen needed to come out, I think, in my opinion, it was close because I think the Bills are just messing around with them, in my opinion. I don't think they when they had to, it was that fourth quarter and Josh Allen's all right, let me go put up a couple of touchdowns real quick and close this game out. They put up 2 touchdowns there, and the game was over. And the Saints, in my opinion, are the worst team in the league. I mean, there's no way we can go into a season and have that say that Spencer Rattler is our starting quarterback confidently. But this is what happens. I don't know what's going on with there in that organization. Why didn't they make a move for one? Maybe I don't know what they saw in Spencer Rattler, but they're 0-4. They had a couple of good games against the fight, especially those first 2 weeks. They kept it close, but I honestly don't think they're going to get a win this week. And then they got next week. They're home again. They're at home next week against the Giants, and I think they're going to start 0-5.
Yeah, man, and I know you just mentioned that you think they're the worst team in the NFL. So that kind of makes me want to ask you this question. With the last few weeks that we've seen from the Cincinnati Bengals, do the Bengals give them some competition for the worst team in the league right now? Because right now, we're going to get into that game a little bit later, but they can't do anything offensively. But we'll talk more later.
Yeah.
But I just want you to kind of think about that question until we talk about the Bengals game in a little bit. But that the next question I do have for you is that we saw that Alvin Kamara actually saw a little bit less volume than we're kind of typically used to seeing with him. Wasn't as involved in the pass game in this game, and I feel like we've kind of just seen a decline in his production over the last couple of weeks, or his involvement at least. And we've seen a lot more of Kendre Miller. Kamara had 15 carries, Kendre Miller had 11. Do you think that this is the year where, obviously the Saints aren't going to be a team that's competing? Is this the year that Alvin Kamara gets traded?
I think so. He's had a very good career there. And you're starting with the way the season is going. It's you could see it like going to waste, like his career there. He's loyal to the team that's paying him and signed him. He wanted to stay there, but they're just not giving him anything. I think he demands a trade, tries to go to a semi-competent team and perform there. It's not even him whose production we saw get dropped. Chris Olave, I think he had one target the first half. I think, if I'm not mistaken, like. You're talking about your two best offensive playmakers right there having low production value in a game where it was almost close, I guess, for them. Like, I don't understand the process there. I think the Saints are in shambles right now, and if they're going to do a full rebuild, they need to maximize and maybe get rid of their assets and get draft capital, because this is getting embarrassing.
Yeah, I think that's the best thing for them right now is just to kind of really understand that the situation they're in, they're 0-4. Looks like they're going to go 0-5, and then after they face the Giants, I believe week 6 is it that they face the Patriots, and then the Bears, and then the Bucs and the Rams. Like it's a tough stretch for them coming up, and I'm not too confident in that team. So I think, like you said, if they're going that full rebuild route, I think the best thing is sell high or sell on your assets that you have right now, get back some draft capital and really rebuild this team from top to bottom, and give yourself a chance in the future, because right now it just does not look good for the Saints. Yeah. But we're going to move on, and we're going to talk about the next game, man, because this one was a surprising game. The LA Chargers faced off against the New York Giants, and unfortunately, the first thing that we're going to talk about is that the MetLife turf has taken yet another, man. Malik Neighbors goes down for the season with a torn ACL, and what a brutal blow for this Giants team. They definitely looked re-energized with Jackson Dart. They just had a certain look to them. Not saying that they performed, Jackson Dart did anything spectacular. He threw the ball for 20 times for 111 yards, had a passing touchdown, yes, but the team just looked revitalized under Jackson Dart. It's just a huge blow for the Giants, and obviously for Malik Neighbors, who had such a great rookie year, and he was on pace to do more good things this season, especially with the change at quarterback. And it's just tough to see. But the Giants were able to take the win. They get their first win of the season over the Chargers, who were 3-0, and the Chargers struggled, man. I mean, Omarion Hampton had a game, and he looked really, really good in his first full game as the true RB1 for this team. Because we saw that obviously the Najee Harris injury last week against the Broncos, but he did exceptionally well. And like I said, the Chargers just struggled to really get things going offensively. Ladd McConkey, 1 reception. Quentin Johnson stood out, but other than that, I mean, they struggled, man. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, and I think this is like Malik Neighbors is on the long list of exceptionally like gifted athletes that have been a victim of that turf over there in MetLife, and it's painful to see such a young star player get hurt like that, especially playing at home, and it's the field that you play on for half the season that's causing this. But I mean, if you watch this game, when Jackson Dart started, it looked like the team got rejuvenated and revitalized. Like they were actually excited for football again. The defense played harder. The offense was moving. They dominated time of possession with 36 minutes.
Yeah.
That's insane, especially for a rookie quarterback's first game to have a 36-minute time of possession in a one full game. It's crazy. They came out ready to play against a 3-0 ranked team, 3-0 top ranked team in the league. I mean, I'm going to be honest. Earlier this year, I said that the Giants D-line is probably one of the scariest D-lines in this league. Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, Kayvon Thibodeau, rookie Abdul Carter. Joe Alt, gets injured with the high ankle sprain, expected to miss several weeks, but that hurt the Chargers really bad. You're already missing Rashawn Slater. Mekhi Becton didn't play with the concussion. And we saw this defense just come after Justin Herbert all game. Like he was being pressured all game. And, shout out to the Giants. My prediction last week was I did have the Chargers winning this game. But if you recall, I was really leaning towards the Giants. I just thought the Chargers were a little bit of a tough opponent. Their defense was playing well, and it's a good offense. But the Giants did come out with this win. Great win for them. Great win for Jackson Dart. He didn't play great, but he didn't play bad. He played good enough to get them this win. Cam Skattebo shined. He does Cam Skattebo things. I love him as a player. He's a hard running back. I love that. Omarion Hampton, I said it last week when unfortunately when Najee went down, Omarion Hampton stepped up and he made his case to say like, hey, I'm here. Like this is I'm in the NFL, and he did it again this week against one of the better defensive lines and a bad offensive line. Had great receiving work, good rushing work, and the Chargers O-line can be in some serious problems here if Joe Alt's expected to miss several weeks with that high ankle sprain, and hopefully they get Mekhi Becton back soon from that concussion, and Rashawn Slater's off for the year, so they need to figure out what they're going to do with that offensive line.
Yeah, man, I was just about to say that. I mean, losing Joe Alt really is a blow because they were already missing Rashawn Slater, and then obviously Mekhi Becton too. So, hopefully they're able to get back on track. Their next matchup is going to be a tough one against the Commanders. And on top of that, there are reports that Jaden Daniels is going to be coming back. So we're going to keep an eye on that, but that should be a good game to watch as well. And like I said, hopefully they're able to get things back on track and really figure out some things to do with that offensive line. But shout out to the Giants, man. They got it done. They got their first win, and the rookie had a tough test in Jackson Dart to get his first win, but he was able to prevail. So shout out to him and the Giants organization. Now, the next one we're going to talk about is an absolutely belt to ass game. The Texans were able to defeat the Titans in a tough matchup for the Titans. They played really well, I guess, for the first 3 quarters. It wasn't a blowout. It was 6-0, really, really ugly game. And then in that fourth quarter, man, the Texans just ran away with it, scoring 20 points in that fourth quarter. And they get their first win. And, CJ Stroud looked better in this game than he did in the first 3. And Nico Collins, I think we talked about on the last episode where L'Jarius Sneed was kind of talking a little bit of smack to him, and Nico Collins was able to come up for four receptions for 80 yards. And, he got him good. He got him back, and they got the win, which is what's most important. But, man, I mean, what is going on in Tennessee, man? What's the issue there, bro?
I think the issue's got to be Brian Callahan. I mean, to have your rookie QB go up to the podium after that loss and say, I'm not going to lie, like, we are ass. I mean, I love the honesty. Like, this is what I wish we had in the NFL, like, people being brutally honest, like, not sugarcoating stuff. Like, you're bad. Like, don't try to, like, play around it. Like, no, he knows they're bad. They're playing not to what they want to play. I don't think their skill players are as highly skilled as we claim them to be with Calvin Ridley and Tony Pollard there. I think they got to do better. I think Brian Callahan's time is going to be coming to an end as a head coach there in Tennessee.
Yeah.
But like you said, I mean, the score 26-0, yeah, it shows a BTA, but I mean, it really wasn't, if you really think about it. I mean, through the first 3 quarters, it was 6-0.
Yeah.
Texans were only up. They only had 2 field goals in the first 2 quarters. They put up a field goal each, and 6-0 going in the third quarter against one of the worst teams in the league. I know it's a divisional opponent, but I mean, yeah, fourth quarter they put up 20 points, 14 coming from Woody Marks, who had his breakout game of the season for the rookie. But I mean, maybe the offense can start getting a groove and build off that for the Texans, and they can start going from there. But I don't know, man. A 6-0 going into the fourth quarter against the Tennessee Titans is not something to be like just looking over. Like that had some concerns for me if I am a Texans fan.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that fourth quarter definitely it made things look a lot worse. But I just think in that fourth quarter is really when they were able to kind of get things clicking.
Maybe they got a groove going and they found it, like with that run game. Woody Marks really did step up that fourth quarter. Hopefully it can carry on to them. They can stack like some wins here, especially in a division where you have like the Jaguars are 3-1 now and the Colts are 3-1. So they trying to, they want to stay in that race there. But I mean, they got to do more than just having a 6-0 lead through 3 quarters.
Yeah, I mean, they're it's a little bit, unexpected, I guess, for them to be struggling this bad. I know we had some question marks with that offensive line, but I mean, I just didn't expect this Texans team to struggle this much offensively.
Yeah.
I guess we'll keep an eye on it, but I mean, on the Tennessee side, man, like you said, I just think that Calvin Ridley and Tony Pollard, they have to be, they have to get more from them. You are targeting, Calvin Ridley 3 times in a game. I just don't think that, he's probably your best wide receiver. I know that Io Manor has been a guy who's kind of taken off over the last couple of weeks, just kind of finishing above Calvin Ridley in yards and production and things like that. But I just think you need to get more from your vets, man. The guys that you're paying big bucks. You're paying Calvin Ridley a lot of money, and you're paying Tony Pollard a lot of money, and you're just not getting enough from them. And we really thought that last year this team was able to do a lot better with Will Levis at the quarterback spot, and now we're not getting that as much. So it leaves a lot of question marks. They're just not putting him in a position to succeed. But again, we'll keep an eye on that. But we're going to move on to the next game, because the next game was a pretty good one as well. We had the Commanders and the Falcons game. We in that game, it was 34 to 27. And George, if I'm not mistaken, you predicted the Falcons to win this game.
Yes, I did.
They bounced back, and they were at home, like you had mentioned in last week's episode, and they were able to get the victory. We saw some good things out of Michael Penix. He looked a lot better. Drake London had a game. Bijan had a hell of a game. 180 total yards for Bijan and a touchdown. Drake London had a touchdown. So we saw some good things with this Falcons offense, and they kind of got things rolling again. So what were your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, and I know last week it was just a brutal loss. They bounced back really well after losing 30-0 to the Panthers. Falcons had 400 yards of total offense, 300 coming from Penix, which is huge bounce back. And, but I'm not thinking too much of it. Commanders didn't have Jaden Daniels. They didn't have Terry McLaurin. They're looking to get those guys back, try to stack some wins here now that they're 2-2, hoping to go above 500 now, especially going against a Chargers team whose O-line is struggling right now, so they can possibly come out with that win there. Don't really know if the Falcons are good or if they're bad yet. We gotta wait. I mean, through the first month, it's kind of a confusing thing. If you're still wondering if you're good or bad through the first month of football, it might be an issue, but we'll see how that goes. It was a good bounce back win, and I think the Commanders' defense is kind of giving me some worries. I think this is the 3rd game in a row they let up 27 or more points. So hopefully they can fix some of those issues before they get into the later stretch of this season, start to face some better opponents, and maybe they can, and then getting Jaden Daniels back and Terry McLaurin, the offense can start clicking again, and the defense can start tightening up.
Yeah, I think it's going to be big for them to get Jaden Daniels back next week, hopefully, and then Terry McLaurin. I'm not sure when he's coming back. He could be back week 5. He could be back week 6, but ultimately, I think like you said, it's tough to see whether or not the Falcons are going to be good just because of the fact that you're playing a team that's without their wide receiver 1 and their quarterback.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, their next 2 games are going to be against the Bills and then the 49ers. So going to be a tough stretch for them.
I think they could beat the 49ers. I think, but the Bills, they might struggle with there.
I think so too. But the thing is, I think by the time that they face the 49ers, they're going to have Kittle back. And, obviously we saw, we'll talk about Purdy a little bit more, but though they should be getting Kittle back and possibly Brandon Ayuk comes back as well. So if the 49ers are kind of at full strength, I think it's going to be a challenge for the Falcons. But I think if they are able to perform well against them, then we kind of do know whether or not they might be a little bit more for real. Or not. So, but we're going to move on and we're going to talk about the next game. Next game was a game to watch, man. The Eagles and the Bucs. And there's a couple of things that I want to talk about here, man. And the first thing is the Eagles passing game, once again, just non-existent in the second half. If I'm not mistaken, I don't believe that Jalen Hurts completed a single pass in the second half of this game.
He went 0 for 8 or 0 for 9 in that second half of that game.
Which I just think that's I just don't get it, and
it's not like Saquon had a huge rushing game either. I mean, Jalen Hurts led the team in rushing.
Yeah, like
I don't know.
Saquon had 43 yards on 19 carries. Shout out to the Bucs though, because they were able to at least limit the run damage, and it's just the Eagles did just enough, I guess, to just win this game. But I mean, I know we're going to talk about fantasy later too, but I'm just on red alert for just this Eagles passing game, both fantasy-wise and real life talk, because of the fact that it's just to a point where there's a lot of question marks on whether or not this can be something that they continue throughout the season and continue to stack up wins. Because I think eventually it's going to come back to bite them, because these guys can't get in a groove. Obviously we saw the big game from A.J. Brown last week. Then this week he goes 2 receptions for 7 yards. It just also feels like when Jalen Hurts is throwing the ball, it's to Dallas Goedert only. Like that's, and it's just, it leaves me wondering what is going on over there right now in this passing game.
Yeah, and again, this if you don't need it, if it's not broke, don't fix it, I guess is what their mindset is right now. Like they don't need it, and they haven't been using it, and they're not losing. So and we could see the frustration from AJ Brown, especially with that post on Twitter he made after the game. Like it was literally I think like 10 or 12 minutes after the game he made that post. And to be honest, if that's what he's doing after they win, can you imagine if they lose?
Yeah.
Can you imagine what's going to happen if they lose? I mean, we saw last year he brought the book on the sideline, which I thought was hilarious, but like unprofessional, but whatever. I don't know how it's working for the Eagles, but it's working for them, and they're just rolling with it. I mean, shout out to the Eagles, I guess. I mean, the Dallas Goedert 2 touchdowns. Saquon finally gets one. They block another kick for a touchdown, so the special teams came up big again there. I mean, second half, they didn't complete a single pass, and they won this game. And Bucs tried to make a comeback. I mean, Baker couldn't lead that fourth quarter comeback this time. They're 3-1. Eagles are 4-0. I just don't. I can't explain how they're doing this, because I don't even think they know how they're doing this. If that makes sense, I don't even know how. I don't think they know how they're winning when Jalen Hurts literally has not a single pass completed in 2 halves in the second half of that game. And if you watch that game, most of those passes are like 0-yard flats, 5-yard flats to Saquon, and the passes that Goddard got, 2 of the touchdowns were shuffle passes at the 1-yard line.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't know how they're doing this.
Let me tell you, man.
I don't understand it.
They are like I love when Sundays come around and I get to spend my day just watching football. But man, when the Eagles are playing, I can't tell you how much I thoroughly do not enjoy watching them play football.
Yeah.
It's a hard watch, man. And then on top of that, you look at the other side of things, who they're playing, the Bucs. You got Baker slinging it. You got Bucky running all over. Like, they just look so much more fun to watch. Like, that
Yeah.
team is actually fun to watch.
Yeah,
But speaking of the Bucs, real quick,
yeah.
there is some injury concern with Bucky Irving. Nothing really has came out yet. He did finish that game, and he had a great game, actually, over 160 yards of total offense by himself. But he did have an MRI. Their head coach confirmed yesterday, and we're gonna kind of be wondering what's going on with that until things come out later this week, maybe. But definitely has some concern there with Bucky Irving. But
Yeah.
what were you gonna say?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I get the frustration out of AJ Brown. Like, you're paying me all this money, like use me, like, throw me the ball. And you see, like, he had 7 targets that game, but like the targets were like he's running his route, and Jalen Hurts kind of like throws it out of bounds. So, but it's near him, so it counts as a target, but it's not really a target. Like,
Yeah,
like give me the ball. I get it, but it's like you're also winning. You're 4-0. Like, how can you complain? So it's like, what can you do? And you can see, like,
yeah.
That's AJ Brown's personality. He's like outspoken about stuff, and Devontae Smith isn't really like that. But you can honestly see the frustration in Devontae Smith's like facial expressions, like on the sidelines. Like, if you saw that clip of them going to the tunnel, like they just won and they're just walking in the tunnel, going to locker room all depressed. Like, you can see like your top receivers are visually upset because you're not giving them the ball, but you're also winning. So I don't understand. Like, I don't know what they should do. Like, I don't know. But they're winning. Keep going, I guess.
Yeah, I just think sometimes you kind of have to listen. It's like you're paying all this money for these players. I think you have to utilize them somehow, some way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand you're winning, but at the same time, you could be really ruining some relationships there, and I don't know if it's just a play call thing, or if Jalen Hurts is just having a slow start passing wise, and he's really trying to get in the groove of things himself. But it's just I'm not too sure, man. But hey, they're winning.
Enough of this game, man.
So,
I don't know.
Then the next one we're going to talk about, though, is the Browns and the Lions game, man. Nothing really crazy here to talk about. The Browns defense, though, they kind of I think through the first 3 weeks of the season, they've been, a team that, people are saying, hey, they're able to stop the running backs. And they only stopped one running back this game. Jahmyr Gibbs had a hell of a game. David Montgomery did not. But, the Lions did what they needed to do. They went into Cleveland, or they faced off against Cleveland, and they won this game very easily, 34-10. Jared Goff, didn't have a crazy game, but had two touchdowns himself. Amon-Ra continues to do Amon-Ra-like things, and he's probably one of the most consistent wide receivers I think we've seen over the last couple of years, production-wise. Obviously, you got Puka Nacua there as well, but Amon-Ra is as consistent as they come. On the other side of things, though, for the Browns, man, Quinshon Judkins, he is good, man. That guy is good. He continues to break out. Had another touchdown in this game. He totaled over 100 yards in this game as well. So, but in other news for the Cleveland Browns, man, I believe it has officially been announced that Joe Flacco will be riding the bench in Week 5, and Dylan Gabriel will be the starter in Cleveland now. So hopefully that has some implications on their offense, and for the better, because this team has been rough to watch offensively, man. Outside of Quinshon Judkins the last few weeks, they have just struggled to really get things going offensively. If I'm looking at their last few weeks, they have not scored more than 17 points in a game. Week 1, they scored 16, week 2, 17, week 3, 13. in that upset win against the Packers. And then this week they had 10 points. And then next week they're going to face the Vikings with, a solid defense there as well. So I hope that just for the sake of watching them, that this change at quarterback can really do some things. But hey, Detroit does what Detroit does.
Detroit does what Detroit does. And I don't got much for this game. Lions still one of the top teams in this league. They show that no matter how good your defense is, we're going to come out. We're going to score some points. I don't think Dylan Gabriel's even going to work out for them. I think by the next 4 or 5 weeks, they're going to bench him too and bring out Shador. I think that's the right move they should have went with, making Shador the starter this week. But we'll see. I mean, Quinshon Judkins. I will say though, I mean, props to him for a defense that held Derrick Henry last week to under 50 yards rushing and a fumble, but he did get a touchdown. I mean, over 100 yards. Over 100 yards. Did he get a touchdown this week?
He did get a touchdown.
And over 100 yards, all-purpose yards, and the touchdown against one of the better defenses right now in this league. Shouts out to him. But, I mean, that's all I got for this game.
The rookie is shining, man. The rookie is shining.
Yep.
And the next game that we are going to talk about is the Panthers and the Patriots in a true belt-to-ass fashion. 42-13. The Patriots are able to secure the win. Drake May had a hell of a game. Very efficient. Only 17 passes needed for 200 yards. 14 completions. 2 touchdowns. Obviously we saw a big game from Stephon Diggs, and the Patriots continue to roll with the running back by committee, with no clear favorite in this backfield at this point. It's very confusing. I feel like last week we were all convinced that the Patriots were going to roll with the rookie and Travion Henderson, and the next thing you know, he still gets less rushing attempts than a guy like Ramondre Stevenson, who's had fumble issues over the last couple seasons. But I think the big thing here for me is, man, I'm very disappointed with the Panthers, because I think with what we saw to end last season with Bryce Young, he looked very promising. And then this year, it just feels like he's kind of reverted back to his ways early of last year, where he was struggling and couldn't really get things going. And, because of that, we saw guys like, Chuba Hubbard last year towards the end of the season kind of have a little bit of a resurgence because the passing game was flowing. And I think the Panthers are definitely falling back into that hole right now, and they really got to figure it out.
Yeah,
it's not pretty.
Yeah, I don't know. And the Panthers, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you win 30-0 last week, and then you get beat 42-7. That last garbage time touchdown with the last couple of minutes of the game with Andy Dalton was in. It's whatever. Yeah. But I mean, shout out the Patriots. I mean, you had 5 turnovers last week against the Steelers, bounce back win at home, 42 unanswered points after going down 7-0 in the beginning of the game. Drake May looked pretty good. I mean, the running game, I mean, no turnovers, at least this game, I believe. Yeah. So that's I mean, going from 5-0, that's good. I mean, hopefully they can
step forward.
I mean, I think their schedule coming up is pretty favorable for them too, in my opinion.
Outside of this week, I think they do have a relatively favorable schedule. This week they're playing the Bills on Sunday Night Football.
Yeah.
Then they have the Saints, Titans, Browns, and then the Falcons. So
Saints, Titans, Browns, Falcons. They got the Jets twice. Miami one more time. That's I'm seeing 7 more wins right there, and they already have 2? That could possibly be 9 wins. But I mean, any given Sunday, getting ahead of ourselves there. I mean, Patriots, good bounce back win. Tough matchup Sunday night. That's all I got for you for this one.
All right, next game we're going to talk about is the Jaguars and the 49ers. So this one definitely was a bit, I guess, of an upset in this game. But the Jaguars defense really showed out, man. Yeah. Brock Purdy came back from injury. He definitely looked rusty. You could tell he looked rusty. He was missing guys.
It looked like he was still injured. If I'm being completely honest, it looked like he wasn't fully healthy.
I don't think he was 100%, but I just think he was healthier than than Mac Jones was, and that's the reason they were able to put him out there. And, when you miss a few weeks, I think, it could be maybe, like you said, that he's not fully healthy. It could also be a little bit of rust because it's still early in the season. But, the Jaguars, they kind of bounced back in that second quarter. They were down 3-0 after the first, and then it put up 17 points in the second quarter. And that's really what kind of stole the game for them. And like I said, with Brock Purdy was missing guys. I think Christian McCaffrey would have had a significantly better game. As crazy as that sounds, I mean, he already had 150 all-purpose yards, but he could have had a touchdown, but he could have had a better game if, he had, if Brock Purdy had hit him on some of those other checkdowns and things like that. But, I think when it comes to this 49ers team, they're just not healthy, man. Like Jennings wasn't healthy. Ricky Pearsall was banged up, and I think he made his knee injury a little bit worse.
Yeah.
When they get Kittle back and Brandon Ayuk is supposed to come back in the next couple of weeks as well, I think this offense is going to start rolling because they do have a relatively easy schedule. I think we've talked about that from the beginning of the season, even in the first episode that you joined us on. They have the easiest schedule in the NFL this year. So I just think they're struggling right now, but things will come together soon enough.
Yeah, and a lot of people might not agree with what I'm going to say right now and call me crazy, but I mean, obviously, I still 100% believe that Brock Purdy's a way better quarterback than Mac Jones is. But last year, you give Purdy $50 million, and through all of last season and the first 2 games this season that he's played, I'm not really seeing a $45 million difference right now. In my opinion, I'm not seeing a $45 million difference right now. But again, let him get all his weapons back. Let them all be healthy on offense. Maybe we'll see them picking it up again. And they can go from there because they do have an easy schedule, and it'll be a shame to see the Niners waste another season this year like they did last year.
Yeah, and do you want to know something crazy? I think early in Brock Purdy's career, it's just something that I had to note. Early in his career, I think he was the guy that limited turnovers.
Yeah.
Didn't throw a lot of interceptions. In his last 20 games, if I'm not mistaken, he's had 17 picks. So that just goes to show, he's not necessarily performing how he did early on. And, if Mac Jones is performing at the rate he was, you definitely could have saved yourself a little bit of money if that was the case. But other than that, on the Jaguar side, their defense looks solid, man.
Yeah,
it's a 3-1 team.
Looks good. They're moving. They're moving on all cylinders right now. I do want to see the passing game get elevated more.
Yes. 100%.
But I mean, the run game is good. Travis Etienne's looking like Travis Etienne from 2-3 years ago. He's looking good. Yeah, Liam Cohen is running a good system over there, and you saw a little scuffle between him and Robert Saleh at the end of the game. Robert Saleh kind of accused Liam Cohen and some of his staff of sign stealing, and there were some words exchanged after the game was there. He didn't shake his hand. Liam Cohen just walked right past him, and there were some words exchanged there. But I mean, Jacksonville's really turning the tide right now.
Yeah, man, and they are 3-1 in that division that you had mentioned earlier. The Colts are 3-1. The Titans are obviously 0-4, and then the Texans are 1-3. So right now, that looks to that's shaping up to be a good matchup or good divisional battles going forward this season with especially between the Colts and the Jaguars. So that'll be fun to see. But speaking of the Colts, that's going to be our next game that we talk about. The Colts take their first loss of the season against the Rams. The Rams, they played a great game, man. Matthew Stafford looked really good, and Puka does. I mean, Puka is this is. I think it's time we ask this question, and I know it might be a little bit, one-sided, I guess, because of the fact that the Bengals aren't healthy, and don't have Joe Burrow throwing the football anymore. But man, is Puka the best wide receiver in football?
In so far this season, yes, that's a 100% not arguable statement. This season, the 2025 season, through the first 4 weeks, Puka Nacua is the best receiver in football. And even with a healthy Joe Burrow, having Jamar Chase being there with a healthy Joe Burrow, and I'm going to say you give Justin Jefferson not a rookie quarterback and not Carson Wentz, a competent quarterback. Puka Nacua is still a top 5 wide receiver in this league, in my opinion. Even if Jalen Hurts throws the ball to A.J. Brown, CeeDee Lamb is still there. I still think CeeDee Lamb is top 3, top 4 for sure. But Puka Nacua is a top 5 receiver in the league, even with all the receivers have what they need. But right now, he is definitely the best receiver in football, and I believe he's on pace to break Calvin Johnson's record. Yards. I think he's ahead of the pace. I think he's ahead of if you on pace, but he's ahead of it. And I think he might if they keep rolling, he could break it this year. And man, that he'll go down in history as probably one of the best receivers if he keeps up this production the rest of his career, and I love it. The Colts suffered their first loss. I told you this was going to be a determination if they can handle one of the top teams in the league. They should have won this game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Adonai Mitchell.
100%. Adonai Mitchell on two occasions, he sold them out.
Fumbles the ball at the 1 yard line, trying to extend the ball there to make it cross the plane. Fumbles it in the end zone. Take away the touchdown there. Rams get the ball. Jonathan Taylor breaks for a 50-yard touchdown. An unnecessary holding call. Didn't need to hold there. Jonathan Taylor was clearly going to score with a bunch of room. Holds there. The touchdown gets called back. They lose by, 7 points this game?
Yep.
I still think the Rams, if you add those 14 points, they win. But even with the Adonai Mitchell touchdown, if he had scored that, I still think the Rams would have come out victorious. Daniel Jones didn't really play one of his better games this season. Had 200-something yards, a touchdown, 2 interceptions. The first time he turned the ball over, and it was twice this game. I do think the Rams were the better team, especially that the defense was pretty good, I would say, and is improving a lot since last year. And we'll see how the Colts can bounce back off this loss and see if they can continue playing at a high level. Tyler Warren finally gets his touchdown. So excited to see that. It wasn't a touchdown you were hoping to see. It was a rushing touchdown on the 2 yard line. So we saw him do a bunch of stunts like that in college where he was throwing, running the ball, whatever. Let's see how the Colts bounce back and Rams get a good victory there. They move on to 3-1. So let's see how that season goes for them.
And I think too, through the first 3 weeks of the season, I think the Colts punted once. This game they punted 4 times alone. So it just goes to show that Rams defense is pretty legit too.
Yeah.
But ultimately, Daniel Jones didn't.
They also played a better opponent this week than they had played the first 3 weeks. They played the Texans 1 week, and I forgot who the other two opponents
were. The
Dolphins,
and the Broncos.
And the Broncos. The Broncos maybe they were a little rough start. Maybe we'll talk about it later, but the win they had last night probably helps them get back in the groove. But Colts, we'll see if they can do it against the better teams in the league and not just the lower tier teams in this league.
Yeah, but this upcoming week they're going to be facing the Raiders, so hopefully that is the opportunity. That is an opportunity for them to bounce back for sure. So
100%.
So we will obviously keep an eye on them. But the next game, George, wow, this was this was an embarrassing loss for the Ravens. In my opinion, I think they've lost 3 games this season. And, with one of them being a game that they choked at the end with a 15-point lead to the Bills. The other one was obviously the game against the Lions, which Lions are a high-powered offense. They kind of kept themselves in it up until that Derrick Henry fumble. Excusable loss, right? The Bills one was not as excusable because your defense collapsed. But in this game, I just think that the Ravens looked terrible.
Yeah.
They looked really, really bad. And on top of that, Lamar Jackson gets hurt with a hamstring injury. Could be out for this upcoming week. I think he's leaning towards being out this week. And then, he could be out for a couple weeks after that because, again, it is a hamstring injury. And obviously with Lamar, he's a mobile quarterback. He's a guy that, if he's not going to be fully healthy and able to do the things he does, I don't think that they are going to play him. And then on top of that, they have the bye. I believe it's week 7. So we could possibly see him back for week 9 against the Bears. I just don't know if I see him coming back this week with the Texans or the following week with the against the Rams. And that's going to put the Ravens in a tough spot, man, because if they start this season out 1-5, I just don't think that they have a chance. But you never know because this division is pretty bad as well. So, again, just a terrible performance by the Ravens. Derrick Henry held to under 50 yards again this season. Lamar Jackson, 147 yards, a pick. And then on the opposite side of things, it just seemed like everything was going for the Chiefs.
Yeah. And credit to the Chiefs. Like, we had the Ravens winning this game. Mahomes gets one of his better receivers back. We're in 2025, and the first 3 weeks, Mahomes was throwing to Juju Smith-Schuster and Tyquan Thornton. And Tyquan Thornton is starting to develop a little bit in this offense now, but I mean, the fact that they were 1-2 with that receiving core, with that, I mean, kind of impressive.
No run game.
And no run game. Kind of impressive. And you get Xavier Worthy back, and not only is he the leading receiver on this team, he's also the leading rusher. And that was only when he rushed the ball one time for 35 yards. So they still have no run game there. But, I mean, this proves, like, statistically, the Ravens defense is last. It's last. In every category, they're last. And, you know, a couple of those defensive players got hurt. I mean, they were missing like 6 guys on their defense. But even when some of those guys were starting, it was still bad. So I don't know what's going on over there in Baltimore. I mean, they fall to 1-3. They're third in that. I think they're third in that division because they beat the Browns, so they get that edge. But if Lamar is out for a couple of weeks with this injury, this could be troubling for Baltimore. Like, it might be time to look onto the next season because, I mean, and then the way that even when Lamar was playing, they're still losing these games. Yeah. So I don't even know if they could even take first. I think the Steelers could just walk away with this division, no problem.
Yeah. And that's kind of crazy to say when you're in a division with, you know, the Ravens and the Bengals. But, I mean, what happens when one, defense can't perform and hold a lead or get a stop, and 2, when, you know, on the Bengals side, you're just not healthy at the quarterback position. This could be the year that the Steelers, you know, they don't just finish at 9-8 and are able to sneak into the playoffs. This could be a year where they actually win this division and, you know, they can really kind of get a good opportunity in the playoffs this year. So
yeah, just one last thing before we go to this next game, I just want to give a shout out to Patrick Mahomes. I mean, I think this was his best game in 2 years. This is the first time he's thrown 4 touchdowns. I think they said since 2023. Yeah. So this is one of his better games in 2 years. So this is just with Xavier Worthy coming back. When Rashee Rice comes back, that loss, I mean, they're now 2-2. Chargers are 3-1. Broncos are 2-2. But that banged up O-line there for the Chargers, and I think Chiefs can come back and take this division easily.
You know, this was, in my opinion, this was the opportunity for the Chiefs. You know, I know we both had the Ravens, I think, winning this game.
You did.
But I think this, after the performance that we saw from Mahomes and the Chiefs, this was exactly what they needed to get the passing game rolling and really kind of get things going for them as an offensive unit. Because, you know, in a couple of weeks, man, they're going to get Rashee Rice back. And when he comes back, if he isn't, you know, if he is anything like what he was before he got injured, this team is going to be really good.
Yeah.
And shout out to Mahomes. He got his 250th career touchdown, he is the youngest quarterback in history to reach that mark. But yeah, so the next game, George, that we're going to talk about is the team that you are currently repping in a sloppy game. It was not pretty to watch at all, but you know what matters at the end? A dub. And the Bears got a dub.
I will never apologize for a win. I will never apologize for a win. Exactly. We'll take it when you can get it.
And do you want to know something crazy, George? We're just talking about the Chiefs. The Chiefs and the Bears are the only 2 teams, I believe, this season to fall to 0-2 to start the year and come back and win their next 2 games to go to 2-2. So shout out to the Bears for doing that. As I said, man, it was a sloppy game. You know, Caleb didn't look great at all in this game. You know, he had some moments. The touchdown to Rome was great. And Rome Odunze continues his breakout, you know, this season. I believe he is the only wide receiver to score a touchdown in all 4 games this season.
I think only NFL player.
Yeah, I think
not just wide receiver, running backs, only NFL, like including running backs too. He's got a touchdown in every single game.
He's been great so far. The running game wasn't great. DeAndre Swift, it does not look great at all. He did get a touchdown, but you know, he didn't look fantastic. You know, in this new Ben Johnson offense, I think we expected a lot more from DeAndre Swift. We're just not getting that. And then on the Raiders side of things, Geno looked terrible. 3 picks. Kevin Byard, man. Shout out to Kevin Byard.
What a game. Prime Kevin Byard from Tennessee, if I do say so myself.
what a game by Kevin Byard. What a game by Ashton Genty, though.
Yeah.
3 touchdowns,
And
140 yards.
We kind of predicted that. Bears being one of the worst lower level teams, especially for a run defense. We didn't say it on the pod, but everyone kind of expected Genty to have his breakout game this game.
Yeah.
Bears can't really stop the run, and he had over 150 total yards and 3 touchdowns, 2 of the touchdowns receiving. It was hard to stop him. Again, ugly for the Bears, though. The passing defense back-to-back weeks has been
solid,
above our expectations, to be honest, especially with 5 of our five of our key defensive players missing.
I believe Grady Jarrett was out.
TJ Edwards was out. Jalen Johnson's not there.
Kyler
Gordon's missing. So the fact that these guys are stepping up, especially these last 2 weeks in the passing game, is huge after that devastating performance against Detroit in week 2. So that's good to see. Now we got to work on the run game. We got to be able to stop them.
They were, and it's just so crazy too, because last year they weren't bad running, rush defense.
No, they weren't the best, but they weren't the worst. I think they were about league average,
middle of the pack. And I'll take that at this point, because if your pass defense can continue what they've been doing the last 2 weeks, I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
but you got to be able to stop the run.
And I think that mostly has to do with TJ Edwards being out. TJ Edwards is a pretty good like tracking down the ball carrier and bringing him down. So like with him being back, hopefully that improves it a little bit. And not to knock anything from from Noah Sewell, he's been stepping up pretty good, and in a bigger role now that Edwards is out. But I mean, there was a couple of times though during that game where they blew up that offensive line and got to Genty behind the line of scrimmage, especially Billings on that huge 4th down stop in the first quarter that caused Genty to fumble, and then. When the Raiders are trying to march down the field and kick a game-winning field goal on 3rd and 2, Byard blows it up, tags him behind the line of scrimmage, and ultimately makes that field goal a little bit further. And we know how that ends. Blackwell comes in huge clutch, and honestly, one of the harder fashions of blocking a field goal. Usually, it's the big guys up front, like jumping up to get it and bulldozing through. But the guy coming off the edge that wide and getting that low to block it from the side. That's the harder part of blocking the field goal. So. Shout out to them. And I know he didn't have a really good game. I mean, Max Crosby was just all over Caleb this game. I mean, what was it like? He sacked him, caused him the fumble, but the Bears got it back.
The interception,
3 or 4 pass deflections. Like he looked like the best defensive player in football that game, in my opinion. Like, I mean, I know, the Myles Garrett still there, and there's other great defensive players, but that game he just looked like he was the best defensive player in football. But shout out, I want to shout out to the Bears for this one, because this is a game where over the last 4 or 5 years, the Bears lose this type of game every single time. Every 100%. Single time the Bears are in that situation over the last 4 or 5 years, they lose this game every single time. And this is proof that the culture and the character for the Bears is changing. It's changing, and this is a product of Ben Johnson changing his culture. Like if you watch, like the locker room videos are starting to come out for the Bears after these back-to-back wins, and you could see like Kevin Byard's post-game speech, like when everyone has us, like the book has us, when the games get close like this, that we are losing. This is not no more. Like the culture is changing here for the Chicago Bears, and they're fighting to the very end. And as a Bears fan, you're excited to see this. Like. Not last year, you would see them give up all the time, especially after that Hail Mary. They would give up every game that the defense just gave up. And shout out the Bears for sticking it through the end, and shout out Caleb for coming in clutch, driving the Bears down the field when you needed them to get a touchdown to take the lead. They got him the touchdown. This just shows like the Bears through adversity, like this year, they're fighting to the very end no matter what, and this is what we want to see.
Yep. All we said all preseason long was that we want to see just slight improvements and I think we're getting that. So I'm happy with that. Bears get the win, and that's all that matters. So the next game though we're going to talk about is the Sunday Night Football thriller. What a game. And I mean, a game that we definitely did not expect to have this outcome. First of all, a tie. That's not something that you see too often in football anymore. But on top of that, we saw a hell of a game by George Pickens, 134 yards, 2 touchdowns. and they couldn't stop him. There was a clip too of CeeDee Lamb saying, "Go three, go three."
Yeah.
This is a touchdown three.
Yeah,
and
he knew
that
it was press
yeah,
coverage, and he knew
it
that
was
it was going
press
to be an
coverage. He
instant
knew
touchdown.
that he knew Pickens can cook against press coverage, and
Yep.
that was just great to see. Because you know what, too, I think for me, what that shows is that first off, Dak Prescott really gained a lot of trust in George Pickens after that game.
Oh yeah.
And second, I think when CeeDee Lamb comes back, that passing offense, because I think they are the best. They're ranked as the best offense in the NFL, but have the worst defense in the NFL right now, which is such a just polar opposites, right?
Yeah.
But I think that's going to open up so much more because the next few weeks without CeeDee Lamb, but George Pickens kind of taking over in this role, I think that duo is going to be something scary to watch.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be in a lot more games than we expected just because of who they have on the field in CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. But Dak Prescott, 300 plus yards passing. He scored a touchdown himself, 3 touchdowns passing. Jordan Love, 300 plus passing yards, 3 touchdowns. Romeo Doubs had all 3 of them. To all the Tucker Craft fantasy owners, we apologize because he got robbed of a couple of them. But then, outside of that, Josh Jacobs, hell of a day too. Javonte Williams, hell of a day as well. And just a great game overall. And, I think the biggest thing here was that, Micah Parsons, he did get a sack. I don't really.
They credit him the sack for no loss.
It was for the storylines. That's all. To be completely honest, there was a no loss. It was a sack for 0 yards. So you want to call it a sack? Go ahead. I think that's a storybook narrative sack that they had to give him. But the Cowboys spoiled the Packers. Or Micah Parsons returned to Dallas. So, man, what were your takeaways here?
Yeah, and I want to give a credit to Dak Prescott. I mean, that game against the Bears, they just were off. I know you lose CeeDee Lamb, and it's heartbreaking to that offense, but it was just a terrible day for that offense there, and they bounced back. I mean, they went toe-to-toe, score for score with the Green Bay Packers, this game, and it's starting to give me some concerns, and maybe we were overreacting about this Packers defense. For a Cowboys team that only put up 14 points and forced, 3 turnover, and the Bears forced 3 turnovers against that Dallas offense.
Yeah,
Packers gave up 40 points. 40 points, and you would assume, we had the Packers winning this game, and I said Packers by 1 million.
Yeah,
and you'd think they would bounce back after that devastating loss on the comeback with the Browns the week before, and I mean, they didn't lose, but they didn't win a tie. I mean, I'm counting this as a loss. You should have beaten the Packers. I mean, you should have beaten the Cowboys.
In their regards, this should easily have been a win. So when you tie, I feel like you can't count this as we tied. No, this is a loss. Yeah. This is a team that, like you said, they were the first few weeks of the season. We were saying how great this defense is, and their defense obviously against the Browns. The Browns have a solid defense, so okay, that's an excusable loss, I guess, right?
Yeah.
But to come back this week and not be able to stop anybody on the Cowboys side, it kind of does make me think that win, that dominant performance against the Lions in Week 1 might have been a fluke.
Might have been. The Packers should have won this game. I'm putting this tie on Jordan Love. 28 seconds left in overtime, and they don't have timeouts, and it's just horrible clock management and awareness from Jordan Love. You let the play go down to 6 or 8 seconds,
and then you
had 28 seconds after that play. After that screen pass got blown up, you had 28 seconds. You could have taken another shot in the end. You could have taken 2 shots in the end zone, but the clock ran down, and you had one play. It was a lucky early deflection, and it hit the ground with 1 second left. It allowed them to kick that field goal, but they should have lost this game because of that horrible clock management there. And a tie. No one wants to see a tie. The tie is, I think, it's come on, what are we doing here? This is the NFL. These are professionals. How are we going to end these games on a tie? But I mean, the Packers. I mean, they gotta get it going now because they should be 2-2 after what happened on Sunday night. They're 2-1-1. Who's their next opponent? Who do they got next?
Let me tell you right now. I think their next opponent. Oh, they're on bye Week 5.
Oh, so they have the bye. Okay.
They have the bye on Week 5, but in Week 6 they are going to be playing. Where are they at? They're playing the Bengals, so they should be able to get back on track against the Bengals.
They should be able to, hopefully.
But who knows? Right now, I mean, it's who really knows, because we really thought it was going to be a blowout against the Cowboys, and that defense was going to come up big, but apparently they didn't. So it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, man, I mean, overall, it sucks to see a game end in a tie, but it was a thriller. And honestly, to end Sunday, I can't complain too much, because that was a hell of a way to end the game.
I think they said this is the highest scoring game that ended in a tie in NFL history or something like that.
Yep.
Whatever. So, next game, man. This was just a fire game that ended up with a disappointing outcome for both sides.
Yeah. Pretty. Yeah. But anyway, we move on. The next game we got is the first game of the Monday night doubleheader, and it is the Jets Dolphins. And you know what? Before we even talk about this, I'm so glad that it was not a 6-9 doubleheader again.
A little bit better.
The fact that it started 1 at 6, 1 at 7, much better. Was able to throw that on the multi-view, have both screens up, and I was okay with it. So much better. But the first thing I want to talk about here, man, is the obvious gruesome injury to Tyreek Hill. Prayers up, man. Just not something you want to see. He was having a hell of a game before he got injured too. I think he had 5 targets, 5 receptions, 50 yards already. And, it just was a brutal injury to watch, and news came out today that I believe it was his ACL, a knee dislocation, and one of his I don't remember if it was his MCL or LCL that was torn as well. But it was just, man, it was a brutal injury, and it sucks because you're probably not going to see him for a majority of next season as well. And for a guy that has relied on his speed for the majority of his career, I just don't know if we're going to see him really kind of be the guy he was anymore. So it really sucks to see. Yeah. So speedy recovery to Tyreek Hill, man. And it was hard to watch, but at least the Dolphins were able to pull out the win for him. They were able to stop the late comeback attempt by the Jets. And, in this game, George, Justin Fields looked really bad in the first half, not really passing the ball well. Not for many yards. And then in the second half of this game, he turned it up a little bit. He ended the game with over 300 total yards of offense by himself, with 226 passing, 81 rushing, and a touchdown rushing the ball. Garrett Wilson stepped up big, and they were able to make this game a lot closer than what it was originally. But I mean, yeah, man, the big storyline here was definitely the Tyreek Hill injury. And yeah.
Yeah, and we had the Jets winning this game, and honestly, they should have. The Jets beat themselves this game. I mean, the Braylon Allen fumble on the 1-yard line, the Justin Fields fumble on the sack, the 13 penalties for over 100 yards. Refs missed some calls. There were a couple of hands to the face calls on the Miami's defensive line when they were trying to get past the Jets offensive line that were blatantly missed. And the Jets beat themselves though. Like, I mean, you can't have one fumble on the 1-yard line, on the goal line, and then Fields on a play where you could have just like tried to get maybe a couple of yards on a run there and taking your field goal. You end up fumbling the ball, trying to get away from the sack instead of also throwing it away. And then the penalties were killer. 13 for over 100 yards. You should have won this game, but they didn't. And then at the end, they get the ball back off the punt, and what is he? Fair catches it on the 2.
Yeah.
He fair catches it on the 2. The Jets beat themselves this game. I mean, Dolphins aren't good either way. They win this game, but it's not like, I mean, they're 1-3. Jets are 0-4. That's all I got for this game. It's just 2 bad teams.
Yeah. What are you gonna expect? Right?
I mean, the defense kind of came up a little bit, forcing some turnovers there for the Dolphins, but I mean, I don't see them stacking up a lot of wins this year, anyways.
Yeah, it's especially now with that. It's going to be tough. But I guess we'll have to kind of see and watch.
It's kind of cool to see Darren Waller come out of retirement and get.
Yeah, man,
so that was kind of fun to see. I'm not going to lie.
First time, I think this is the first game he's played in 2 years and 2 touchdowns. So I mean,
I think he had 1 touchdown throughout his stint with the Giants, and he had 2 in his first game as a Dolphin. So it was kind of fun to see him back a little bit. But,
Yeah, very fun. HN had a decent game as well, 100+ yards, all-purpose yards. So it's
and
definitely going to be.
he only received the ball one time on a catch. It was just kind of
Yeah,
weird because usually he's getting like almost 11 targets out of the backfield and like 8 to 10 receptions a game, and this one he only gets one. So I know a lot of
yeah.
parlays are ruined for that one, especially mine. But it was kind of I don't understand what the game plan was there. Why you're throwing in the ball like 12 times a game, and they only give it to him once this game on 2 targets, I think, or 1 target. So
yeah.
kind of weird to see. But they end up getting the win, so it worked out for them.
Hey, dub's a dub, right?
Dub is a dub.
They'll take it. So
That's the first snooze fest on Monday night. Let's go to the next one.
All right. So the next game, we're going to keep this one real quick. This was yet another belt to ass situation here. The Bengals offense looks terrible again. I mean, it's week after week at this point. Outside of that week 2 win for the Bengals and the Jake Browning show, it has been brutal performance in week 3 and a brutal performance in week 4. Chase Brown performed a little bit better. He rushed the ball a little bit better. Got a couple receptions, so he got more involved in this pass game. But it just at this point they absolutely need to trade for a quarterback. And here's the thing: I think right now, especially now after week 4, the Lamar injury, you're 2-2, right?
You're still in second in that division.
You're second in that division right now. With Lamar's injury, if he's out this week and potentially going forward for the next week or so after, they have a real chance to, start that season 1-4, 1-5, right? The Bengals have the opportunity to at least compete with the Steelers for the division or a wild card spot if they trade for a quarterback. But we absolutely cannot continue to watch this Jake Browning experiment. I mean, the offensive line is bad. The defense is bad. And then on top of that, having poor quarterback play who cannot get the ball to your stars to perform, it just goes to show, why are you paying a Trey Hendrickson all this money? Why are you paying a T. Higgins all this money? Why are you paying Jamar Chase all this money when you really can't do anything to use them?
Yeah,
their defense is so bad that it seems like Trey Hendrickson isn't even there. Their offense is so bad right now with Jake Browning, and that offensive line is so bad that he can't even get the ball to his 2 receivers that are costing the organization over $70 million combined.
Yeah,
not
to say that Jake Browning is better than Carson Wentz, but if Carson Wentz can get the ball to Justin Jefferson, how can this guy not get the ball to Jamar Chase? And this is the perfect time to go get your quarterback. I mean, there's 2 on the market that'd be perfect for this team right now. Go get Jameis Winston. They're not going to give up Russ. Russ said he honestly, shout out to Russell Wilson. He took the benching very well. Said he's willing to sit. He didn't ask to be traded and asked to be cut. Said he's willing to sit there and mentor the young rookie in Jackson Dart. I know Jameis Winston's a huge locker room guy for the Giants, but for the right price, they'll trade him.
Yeah.
So go get Jameis, and Kirk Cousins is still there in Atlanta waiting to play. They're paying him $160 million a year to be a backup. I mean, $160 million total contract, and he's backup. So if they can get rid of that contract, they'll do it. Yeah. Go get one of these guys that can still potentially play and be starters and help your team. You're second in a division where the Ravens are struggling. One of the better teams, and the Browns are the Browns, and the Steelers are in first place. You're 1 game behind the Steelers. Go make this move and help your team. If I'm the GM and I'm the owner of the Bengals, because who's their next opponent?
Let's see. Their next opponent is the they play the Lions. Yeah. So they'll be 2-3. So you at least still have a chance, though, if you can go get, because here's the thing too, right? They have the opportunity, and I don't want to stay on this game too long because, again, we're not even talking about the Broncos because they played defense. They did what they were supposed to do. Cortland Sutton had a game. Bo Nix looked good.
Yeah,
RJ Harvey came out, had a good game. J.K. Dobbins.
The end of the thing, and the Bengals will be the Bengals. Like, they're just shooting themselves in the foot every year.
Yep. Because, and then here's the other thing too, right? That I think we're even forgetting too. Joe Burrow, it's not like Joe Burrow has been ruled out for the entire season. Yes, he was slated to miss 3 months, right? So let's just say
that's on the earlier side of it too.
Let's just say he comes back on the early side of things at 12 to 13 weeks, right? And this injury happened in week 1. So if he's able to get back to the team by week 14, week 15. You still got week 15, 16, 17, 18. If the Bengals are in a position to make the playoffs, Joe Burrow will come back, which means if you have a healthy Joe Burrow and a healthy Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Chase Brown, all that, yes, I understand there's a lot of questions with the offensive line, defense, all that, but Joe Burrow has shown that he can kind of overcome that. So do right by your team, by your players. Go put yourself in a position to at least give yourself a chance.
Yep.
And that's just the last thing I have to say about this game. But I just think
because you know the Bengals won't. They won't.
They keep shooting themselves in the foot, and
they didn't. They were hesitant. They were hesitant to pay their 2-star receivers and Trey Henderson. They're going to go out and trade for a quarterback.
Yeah,
right.
I don't. It's not our problem. That's neither here or there. Our team, at least, we're happy. We're happy with what's going on.
We got to win.
With our team. We got to
we got to win. It wasn't pretty, but a win is a win.
Right, a win is a win, and the Bengals can't say the same thing. But anyway, the next thing,
we don't get a quarterback because we play the Bengals this year, so I would love to see Jake Browning against the Bears.
Hey, go ahead. Keep Browning. We'll take it. But anyway, George, now here's one of my favorite segments, and I'm going to hand the baton off to you. George, let me know the best and worst fantasy performances of week 4 in fantasy football, because it's that time of the episode.
I'm gonna list these off quick, ESPN style. Best performances, we're going to start with quarterback Dak Prescott, 319 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, and the rushing touchdowns. One of the better performances of his career. I know he had a 400 or almost a 500-yard passing game in his career, but I think this was the better complete game going toe-to-toe with the Packers. I think this is one of his better performances. Running back, rookie breakout game, Ashton Genty, 138 rushing yards with a rushing touchdown. And he gets 2 catches for 17 yards and 2 passing touchdowns. He was the best running back this week. Wide receiver, it was a close race. You had George Pickens there, had a great game. Romeo Doubs, 3 touchdowns, but ultimately it was Puka Nacua, 13 receptions for 170 yards and a touchdown. Another back-to-back 100-plus yard receiving game for Puka Nacua. He's looking to be wide receiver 1 in fantasy and probably the best wide receiver in football this season. Tight end, Dallas Goedert, with a team that had Jalen Hurts had 118 passing yards. Dallas Goedert was the best receiving tight end in fantasy this week. He had 4 catches for 37 yards and 2 touchdowns. Now let's go to the worst. QB, Lamar Jackson, 147 passing yards, get us a touchdown, 48 rushing yards, and the interception. Leaves the game early because of the hamstring injury. What can you do? It's an injury. We got to account for these stuff, though. Running back, again, Derrick Henry, 42 rushing yards, 2 receptions, 16 yards. I mean, they couldn't get – the Chiefs got a good defense. This is the 3rd game in a row. Henry's been held to under 50 yards rushing. Didn't get a touchdown this time, though, like he did against Detroit, but at least he didn't fumble. Wide receiver, Ladd McConkey, 1 catch for 11 yards. I know Herbert was under a lot of pressure, but Quentin Johnson gets 80-plus yards and a touchdown. At least Keenan Allen saw some production, but 1 for 11. Got to do better. Tight end, David Njoku, 2 catches for 11 yards. I mean, it was just all bad. There a lot of do better, but a lot of those receivers you saw them dropping some passes from Flacco there. I mean, I don't even think it would have made the game even close if they did catch those passes. But I mean, Njoku was by far the worst starting tight end that you would start normally in fantasy. And that's all I got for you for best and worst fantasy performances.
All right. Now, one of my favorite segments that we do here, we talk about a couple waiver wire guys. So, George, what are some waiver wire targets that you got in mind for week 5?
I got 2. 1 wide receiver, 1 running back. First one, wide receiver Malik Washington out of Miami Dolphins. Tyreek Hill is out for the season with that brutal leg injury. So he will be listed as the wide receiver 2. We saw him using a lot of schemes, especially in jet sweeps and run plays, but also in the passing game. Only rostered in 4% of leagues, so if you can get him, and he's like a shaky flex start. But if you need someone for a bye week, go ahead to play the Panthers this week. So I would possibly start him in the flex spot if you needed to. The next one is a running back rookie, Woody Marks for the Houston Texans. He outperformed Nick Chubb this week in a game that was 6-0 going into the 4th quarter. Could take over that RB1 spot for now, depending if Mixon comes back this season. But he's only rostered in 32% of the league, and Nick Chubb is really not performing like the old Nick Chubb was. They do have questions with O-line there, but Woody Marks seemed to have a great day against the Titans defense, and that bad O-line for the Houston Texans last week had 2 touchdowns. That was good.
Yep. All right. Now mine, I've got two guys, one running back and one wide receiver. I guess maybe two wide receivers. It could be either or, depending on your availability in leagues. But the first one that I want to talk about is Rashad White, the backup running back for the Buccaneers. The reason I'm saying Rashad White is because, like I said earlier in the episode, Bucky Irving underwent an MRI, and we don't just yet know the severity of the injury. It really hasn't been disclosed what injury he's dealing with. So for that reason, I'm saying just keep an eye on Bucky Irving's status, and Rashad White could be a guy that when he was the starter, he was a guy that saw a lot of volume, especially in the passing game for the Bucs. So he's a guy that I would definitely keep an eye on. I know, for example, George, did you not have Bucky Irving last year, if I'm not mistaken?
I have him this year too.
Last year you did. I think in our league, I had Rashad White.
One of the better waiver pickups for Bucky Irving.
And I was very excited to have Rashad White because I figured the Bucs offense, they pass the ball a lot to him. He gets involved, both rushing and receiving. And then next thing you know, he's taken over by Bucky Irving, and I'm calling up George trying to get him on my team too so I can have that. But it wasn't going to work out. So, but yes. So with this possible injury to Bucky, I say keep an eye on Rashad White. The second guy I got, it could be either or, like I said, depending on availability in your leagues, but Wan'Dale Robinson or Darius Slayton are two guys that I would target to kind of help ease the blow of Malik Neighbors being gone. I think they are both going to receive an abundance of targets from Jackson Dart now that Malik Neighbors is gone. So those are two guys I would definitely have on my radar heading into week 5. Now, George, one of my other favorite segments, because I love all of them, but the next one we're going to talk about is the panic levels after week 4. And I think we have 3 that we agreed upon. But the first one I'm going to start with is Ladd McConkey. I'm going to say I'm at red alert. I'm pretty close to 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm about a 7 out of 10. He is getting outproduced by Keenan Allen and Quentin Johnson right now. The only thing that's not giving me like a full 9 or 10 out of 10 is that he is a slot receiver for the most part. And with how the bad that O-line is now that Joe Alt's going to miss a couple of weeks and we don't know when Mekhi Becton is going to come back and Rashawn Slater's out, it's easier to get the ball quick and out to your slot receivers, so he could see a little bit more production there. But so far through the first 4 weeks, I am at a 7 out of 10. Yeah, especially drafting him like end second round, high third round guy. He's not really producing like he was last year, and I mean he's getting outproduced. I mean, I know Keenan Allen is the guy that Justin Herbert goes to in critical situation and has built a lot of chemistry with, but an aging Keenan Allen and a guy Quentin Johnson who's having his breakout year this year after having a lot of drop problems and being able to catch the ball problems the last 2 years is very concerning for Ladd McConkey. So I'm at a 7 out of 10 for him right now.
Yeah, man. And I think, last week against the Giants was the perfect opportunity for him to have the game to kind of break out of the slump. And he didn't. He had the worst game of his season so far.
Probably the worst game of his career so far in the NFL. 1 for 11.
Yeah. 1 catch for
11 yards.
Yeah, so just not a good performance by Ladd. But the next guy, someone that we talked about earlier in the episode as well, A.J. Brown. I think I'm probably at a 7 or an 8 out of 10 on him as well.
Yeah, I'm at a 9 out of 10, only because you don't know at this point where you're going to get with this Eagles offense. Again, like he might have this week, he might get 100 plus yards and a touchdown again, but like he did in week 3. But and then it could be followed up with 3 to 4 weeks of 1 catch or 2 catches for 7 yards. You don't know what you're going to get. He's not going to be a consistent wide receiver 1 through what we've seen so far this year, especially people drafting him as a wide receiver 1. Yeah, I'm at a 9 out of 10 with him specifically. Yeah, for this year.
Yeah, it's been rough goings for A.J. Brown in that Eagles pass game. And lastly, something that we can agree upon, everybody in fantasy, all of the offensive players from the Cincinnati Bengals are going to be on the panic level. And they are basically all 10 out of 10s. Jamar Chase, 10 out of 10. T. Higgins, 10 out of 10. Chase Brown, 10 out of 10 for me. These guys, just from where they're getting drafted, especially Jamar Chase, in most leagues was either the first or second overall pick. Nowhere near that. Chase Brown was getting drafted in the second round as a high-end RB1. I know in some of my leagues, I paired for example, in one of my leagues specifically, I went Saquon and then I went Chase Brown to kind of have a great running back, duo right there. Not working out well. In another league, I went hero wide receiver and said, hey, I'm going to go with the upside in Chase Brown in round 2. It's not working out for me well. So based on ADP and just their offensive performances so far, the Bengals' entire offensive staff, fantasy-wise, is on red alert. Sound the alarms. They need a quarterback. Or I can say this right now. Unless you have a super stacked roster at every position, and unless you're in a non-competitive league, you absolutely should not have a super stacked roster like that. These guys can cost you your fantasy season. So you, me, and everybody else are definitely praying that the Bengals can trade for a quarterback.
Yeah. Especially for fantasy purposes,
Yeah. Now, George, I know this is something that we talked about a couple weeks ago, but you and I are facing off against each other once again in our other league. We are, yes, you and me in our league are facing off against each other this week, and I'm excited. So right now, I don't have the screenshot pulled up ready to go. So let me work on that. But right now we are projected. It is a 6-point game that you are projected to win by. I do not have an RB2 right now. Currently in my RB2 spot, it's RJ Harvey because of the fact that Josh Jacobs is on bye. But we will see. And obviously, we know that, last time we faced off, you got the dub. And I'm hoping that was a different league. I'm hoping that in this league.
I think the last couple of times we faced off, I got the
dub. Yeah. Anyway, we're hoping that we can change that this year. So what I do want to do, though, really quickly, because this is something that we did not do, and I'm trying to get this graphic up right now. But we did not do our predictions for week 5. Okay. So while I'm finding the schedule to put up for you, do me a favor, George. I want you to start looking into the Thursday night football parlay, unless you have that ready, because we are 2 for 2 on those.
We are 2 for 2. We smacked again for the Seahawks-Arizona game. We had Seahawks minus 2.5 or minus 1.5. I can't remember what it was, and came
minus
down to that
1.5. Yep.
Came down to that field goal. Thank God the Arizona didn't go for 2 there, because if they went for 2, gotten it, and Arizona had gotten that field goal, we would have been in some trouble. And thank God they made the kick, because they would have only been up by 1, and they probably would have just kneeled out the rest of the game, and that would have. So thank God for that. I don't have anything yet for Thursday night football. Some of the lines that I'm really looking into that I really wanted to put in a slip aren't up yet, so I can't really make the full confidence slip that I want right now. I can get it to you by tomorrow.
All right. So guys, so what we'll do is similar to how we did Sunday's parlay. We are going to just post TikTok and Instagram with the parlay itself. So make sure you guys are keeping an eye on that, because again, we are 2 for 2 on the Thursday night parlays, and we are hoping to go 3 for 3. The Sunday parlay was 1 leg off. Justin Herbert did not come through for us. We had him at 225 yards passing. He ended the game with 203. So we were just there. The read was right. We just, things did not fall our way on Sunday, but that's okay, because like I said, we're going to try to get him back this upcoming week for Thursday and again on Sunday, which, like I said, we'll do the same thing we did last Sunday for both Thursday and Sunday this week. We'll get that to you guys the morning of on Sunday, and the, closer to, Thursday afternoon to get that ready for you guys. But we're going to end the episode. Obviously, we usually end it with the podcast parlay, but this week, because we kind of forgot about it, we're going to fly through these predictions real quick, and we're going to get that out to you guys right now. So, George, let's talk about the week 5 predictions, and we're going to start with this game right here, and that is going to be Thursday Night Football, the Rams and the 49ers. I've got the Rams in this one. Who you got?
Rams.
All right. Then we have the London game on Sunday. The Vikings and the Browns are going to face off.
Give me the Vikings.
All right. And then we also have the next game is the we're going to go to the Texans and Ravens.
If Lamar plays, give me the Ravens. If not, I'll take the Texans, I guess.
Yeah, I was going to say the exact same thing. It all depends on if
the Ravens defense is so bad. Maybe the offense for the Houston Texans can get their confidence off this game. But if Lamar plays, give me the Ravens.
Yep, same here. Panthers and the Dolphins.
Give me the Dolphins.
Yeah, I'm going to say give me the Dolphins in this one as well. Next up, we got the Saints and the Giants. Give me the Giants.
Give me the Giants.
Raiders and Colts. Give me the Colts.
Give me the Colts.
Broncos and Eagles. I think this is going to be a really, really good game. Give me the Broncos.
I mean, there's no passing game for the Eagles, but I'm going to take the Eagles until – it's working for them. They're 4-0. They're last season champs for a reason. I'm just going to keep rocking with the Eagles until they prove me otherwise.
All right. I like that we disagreed on that one, but I think I just have a gut feeling on that one. Cowboys and Jets. Give me the Cowboys.
Give me the Cowboys.
Cardinals and Titans. Give me the Cardinals.
Give me the Cardinals.
Bucs and Seahawks. I think this is going to be a really good game. Give me the Bucs.
I'll take Seattle on this one.
Okay.
I'll take Seattle.
Next game, we got the Lions and Bengals.
Give me the Lions.
Chargers and Commanders. I think this is going to be another game that maybe could decide the outcome could be decided whether or not the starting quarterback plays. And I'm going to say if Jaden Daniels plays, give me the Commanders. That O-line for the Chargers is banged up, and I think that could cause some issues for them. So if Jaden Daniels plays, give me the Commanders. If he doesn't, I'm going with the Chargers.
If Jaden Daniels plays, I think I'm still going to lean a little bit more towards the Chargers still. The Commanders' defense has given me some concerns over the last few weeks, letting up over 27 points. The 27, over the last few weeks, kind of concerning, especially with what the Chargers can produce on offense. Yeah, they had a bad week last week, but the front 4 or 5 for the Giants is one of the best in the league.
Yeah.
The Giants have a pretty good defense, and as we've seen the last 3 weeks, the Commanders do not have a pretty good defense. They got a lot of older players, they're aging players. Bobby Wagner still looks okay, but it could be close. I'm gonna give the Chargers the win just for the home field advantage. So if they win, I think it'll be by a field goal. But yeah, I'm leaning towards the Chargers on that.
All right. Sunday Night Football, we got the Bills and the Patriots. Give me the Bills.
Give me the Bills.
And the last game on the Week 5 schedule, because we've got 4 teams on bye, Monday Night Football, the Chiefs and the Jaguars. Give me the Chiefs.
I think I'm gonna take the fun pick here. I'm gonna roll with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Their defense has been looking pretty good. Their offense is rolling. 3-1. They're at home.
I'm gonna change my pick. I'm going with the Jaguars. Their defense has been good.
Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna go with the Jaguars.
We've seen the Chiefs' offense get revived against that Ravens team game, but the Ravens do have the worst defense in the league right now. They're last in every category.
The Jaguars have one of the best right now.
And the Jaguars' defense is playing really well right now, and their offense is flowing. So I'll take the Jacksonville Jaguars on this one.
All right.
Could be a nice little playoff rematch from a couple years ago.
Could be, yes. Now, all right, guys, that is going to do it for this week's episode. But before we go, I have to give you guys a quick update because I've been following along. You guys know that I started this week's episode talking about MLB the wild card, all that stuff. If you guys remember, early on, I said that the Boston Red Sox were going to be able to overcome the deficit that they were currently facing as we were recording. The Boston Red Sox did indeed come back and win that game. They won 3-1 due to a comeback in the seventh inning. They were able to put up 2 runs to regain the lead. And then in the 9th inning, they put up one more insurance run and were able to take the win from the Yankees, which now means the Yankees are on the brink of elimination and backs against the wall tomorrow in Game 2 of the Wild Card series. So we came through on that prediction there. Like I said, I just think the Red Sox are going to be able to take this series, whether or not they win tomorrow or today, I guess, when you guys are watching this episode now.
And also, just the Reds-Dodgers game has started, and Dodgers are up 1-0 in the bottom of the second because of a leadoff home run by Ohtani in the first inning, the bottom of the first.
Yes. So I told you guys we were going to keep you updated at some point in this episode. So there's your update. And right now, it's looking solid for some of my predictions. So thank you guys again for watching. You guys know that it means the world to us that you guys are here and watching these videos and interacting with us on social media. But of course, you guys know that the most important thing here is that you guys do me a favor. You like the video, you subscribe to the channel, you turn the notification bell on so you know when we are posting and what we are posting. And then don't forget to follow us on Instagram and TikTok, because guess what? That is where we are posting all of our clips. That's where the parlays are going there. All those videos are up on TikTok, Instagram, and like I said, YouTube. Obviously, we still are posting stuff on our YouTube shorts as well. So guys, thank you so much for coming back to episode 75 of the podcast. We have had so much fun over the last few weeks, and we're going to keep it rolling, guys, because football, we've got a lot more football to talk about. We've got a lot more baseball to talk about. And guess what? In the next month or so, we've got basketball coming back too. So we are rolling right now. So much fun being on the podcast and bringing it back. So I thank you guys all for listening, and I really, really hope that you guys enjoy this episode, and we will catch you guys on the next one.